Jair Bolsonaro independent general elections are scheduled to be held in Brazil on the 2nd of October 2022. To elect the president, vice president and the National Congress. Elections for state governors and vice governors. State legislative assemblies in the Federal District Legislative Chamber will be held at the same time. Under 2020 ruling by the Superior Electoral Court, political parties must allocate part of their lists to black candidates. Voting in Brazil is allowed for citizens over 16 years old and mandatory for those between 18 and 70 years old. Those who do not vote in an election and do not later present an acceptable justification must pay a fine of 3 Brazilian reals and 51 centavos. Brazilian citizens residing abroad are only allowed to vote for president. The president and vice president of Brazil are elected using the two-round system. Citizens may field their candidacies for the presidency and participate in the general elections, which are held on the first Sunday of October. If a candidate receives more than 50% of the overall vote, he/she is elected. If the 50% threshold is not met by any candidate, a second round of voting is held on the last Sunday of October. In the second round, only the 2 candidates who receive the most votes from the first round may participate. The winner of the second round is elected president of Brazil. The president selects his/her vice president. The governors and vice governors of all states and of the federal district will be elected in 2 rounds if needed, in the same way as the presidential election. 1/3 of the 81 members of the federal Senate will be elected. The other 2/3 having been elected in 2018. 1 candidate will be elected from each of the states and the federal district using majority voting. All 513 members of the Chamber of Deputies will be elected, with candidates elected from 27 multi-member constituencies corresponding to the states and the federal district, varying in size from 8 to 70 seats. The chamber elections are held using open list proportional representation, with seats allocated using the simple quotient. All members of the state legislative assemblies and of the federal district legislative chamber, varying in size from 24 to 94 seats, will be elected. These elections are also held using open list proportional representation, with seats allocated using the simple quotient. The result of the last general election and the current situation in the National Congress is given below.